Organization development.
Hi everyone, I'm Karina. I'm going to be talking about organizational change.
Hi, I'm Adam, and I'll be talking about individual interventions.
Hi, I'm Jasmine, and I'll be discussing the intervention process.
Hi, my name is Ashley. I'm going to be giving you guys a little introduction on organization development today.
What is organization development? Organizational development, or OD, is the theory and practice of bringing or introducing planned change to organizations. OD is a field defined by its emphasis on organizational change. Change is made by OD practitioners or specialists to address problems and help institutions prepare for the future. Interventions, which is OD jargon, is used to describe the techniques that OD practitioners use to bring about change, which will be discussed in greater detail later in this presentation. The nature of the OD field. Not only is organization development a theory and practice of introducing planned change to organizations, it is actually a lot more complicated than that. OD is also concerned with 1. Improving organizational effectiveness, 2. Developing new approaches to organizational problems, and 3. Providing for the well-being of organizational members. Perez and Robertson, theorists in the field, provide a conclusive, well-defined definition of the field. They state, OD is a set of behavioral science-based theories, values, strategies, and techniques aimed at the planned change of the organizational work setting for the purpose of enhancing individual development and improving organizational performance through the alteration of organizational members' on-the-job behaviors. And they state that on page 720. The nature of the OD field continued. So the Perez and Robertson OD definition, which I highlighted above, points out 3 fundamental elements. So the first is OD as improving organizational performance. So this is the most widely recognized aspect of organization development. So it states that, or means that when organizations face challenges and or problems which limit their effectiveness, they call in an OD specialist for help. These problems can be organization-wide or specific or a particular division. They can be within work groups within the organization, specific individuals, etc. Whichever the level where organization development needs improvement, it is the job of an OD specialist to improve and or address the problem. The second fundamental element is OD emphasizes the development of the organization's members. So OD is grounded in the psychological theory humanistic psychology, which is the belief that humans have an intrinsic need for psychological growth. Therefore, organizations which limit the opportunity for growth amongst their workers will ultimately harm the organization as a whole. And by assisting an individual in their personal development as workers and work groups, OD specialists believe that they are improving the effectiveness of the organization as a whole as well. And then the third fundamental element highlighted within the definition is that organization development is based in the social sciences. So OD emphasizes or strongly emphasizes knowledge from psychology, anthropology, and sociology, etc. Therefore, it is knowledge which typically concerns interpersonal relationships among individuals, and particularly within the organization or work setting. So managers use information from all of these fields of study when trying to make organizations function more effectively. So changes must be based in the social sciences in order for it to be considered an OD intervention. That is key.
So why organization development? According to Warner Burke, a OD theorist in the field, he states that workplaces are changing so rapidly that companies are facing challenges that require the skills of OD specialists. So Burke identifies 5 fundamental challenges that are changing the way organizations operate today. So the first point that he mentions is that companies are shifting towards consolidation. So this generally means a lot of layoffs within an organization and a lot of restructuring. So this adds a lot of stress for the employees who are fearful of becoming victims of such consolidation. So this is definitely a challenge in the way that organizations function. A second point that Burke mentions is organizations must now move at a much faster pace in order to keep up. So, and especially in terms of technology constantly changing, organizations, if they want to maintain or stay competitive, they must keep up with these advancing technological changes, and that they cannot delay to adapting to the latest technology. And even adapting to these technology, if it means that it will affect the organizational structure on the whole, or that it will affect interpersonal relationships in the workplace. They must do it in order just to stay competitive. The third point that Burke mentions is organizations have become increasingly complex and diverse. So from continual changes in technology, that is causing organizations to become more diverse and complex, as well as allowing family leave for employees within an organization, as well as accommodations for workers with disabilities, for instance, as well with a predicted shift in the workforce demographic. It will require organizations to review their personnel policies as well as their hiring procedures. A fourth point that Burke mentions or points out is because of these changes, managers will need quick answers to their problems. So when a problem arises within an organization, managers will need solutions to take place sooner, faster, or sooner than later, versus the way things were historically or previously done in the process of OD intervention, which was an OD practitioner would be hired to diagnose the problem that the organization was facing, and employees would have to endure an intervention, and the effects or the outcomes of these interventions that were put in place would take months before any real change would take place and any improvement would be visible within the organization. And then the fifth point that Burke states is that organizations have shown a renewed interest in ethical issues. So overall, organizations have shown a greater interest about the rights of their employees and customers. For OD practitioners to be successful, they must not only be expedient in resolving or meeting the organizational challenges, but they also must consider the ethical point of view. So on the whole, there are very few companies that have sufficient internal resources to deal with these challenges successfully. This is why companies should prepare themselves for change, and specifically plan change.